Hey everyone. So today we are going to be uh, doing Work It Wednesday. This is Carmen Moses, the drama teacher and performing arts director from the Jesse Norman School of the Arts. And today we are going to finish up a little bit of our discussion on tape with one tape type that I forgot yesterday. And then we are going to work on props today. So Work It Wednesday is all about just doing creative work. Today we are going to try to get as close to finish with this as possible. We added our little piece yesterday, and we have our little light that's going to go, that we're going to attach um, in the mask so that we can have a cool little laser thing going on. So that is what we're going to be working on today. Hopefully we will be finished with this the next couple days, because I'm ready to move on to a new Work It Wednesday project. I kind of feel like I want to keep doing these random mask designs because they're just super fun. But we'll also be working on our Beauty and the Beast rose prop for the musical that will happen one day. That unfortunately got canceled due to current events. So there will be lots of prop projects for us to work on Work It Wednesday. So the first thing I want to do is just talk really quickly about tape. So we talked about tape yesterday, and one tape that I forgot to mention was our spike tape here. Spike tape is used in theatrical practice to mark places, important places on a practice stage. So it's pretty sticky. I kind of I don't like touching it because it is just after a while that stickiness gets to be a bit too much. But this is spike tape, and what you would do. So let's say you want to put like a piece of furniture down on the stage, you would just mark it. You could mark the corners. So I will either mark a corner like that for a piece of furniture, or if there's something that needs to sit in one particular place, we'll mark the stage like that. And spike tape comes in about a million different colors. They're all super neon, super reflective. So you're usually able to see them. And just because I'm cheap, I'm going to hold on to these two pieces of tape in case we need them later. And then one other tape that we didn't talk about is gaff tape. I don't have gaff tape at home. The only reason I have these at home, these usually stay in my classroom, but I brought my toolbox home, and they were still in my toolbox. I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk about spike tape yesterday. So we can talk a little bit more about gaff tape on the next go. But gaff tape is a lifesaver. It's kind of like duct tape, but kind of not. But we'll talk about that later. So we're gonna put our tape up and just get started. Actually, before we get started, we are going to take another look at the Online Monologue Festival. The deadline is this Friday, so you still have a couple of days to create a monologue. So we're going to go to the Online Monologue Festival Facebook here. And people are already posting monologues. I haven't had a chance to sit and watch all of them, but the response looks pretty awesome. And I was really excited here to see some of the kids doing it. My own daughter's pretty shy, so for them to put themselves out there like that, I applaud them. So yeah, definitely submit a monologue. I'm still on the fence if I want to do one myself. I always feel like I don't know, feel like I look funny. I don't know. So I might get into that some other time. I'm more of a behind the scenes person, so actually getting in front of people to speak particularly is a little difficult. So I'm not sure, but I'm encouraging all of you to do it because you're all fabulous. So please jump on the Online Monologue Festival website. There are prizes, and so it's for funsy competition, but with prizes. So check that out. Go ahead and close that window out. It's a fun thing about live. You guys get to hear me talk to myself. Okay, we're done there. All right. And while I'm getting set up, we're actually going to preview a little bit of what we're going to go over tomorrow. So tomorrow, we are going to talk about Romeo and Juliet some more, including context, because it's a Throwback Thursday. So just a little bit more about different remakes, um, about the history of the play itself, about the characters. So we're just going to be diving in and digging into Romeo and Juliet. Now, one of my favorite versions of Romeo and Juliet is this one that came out in 1996. It is PG-13, and the PG-13 is for violence. I don't think it's a language thing, but there are guns and stuff in the movie, and there is some shooting. So if you're sensitive to that, I'm not recommending Romeo and Juliet, but if you're fine with it, it's actually really well done, I think. I love, if anyone knows my particular personal art style, I love Catholic and religious imagery. So there's a lot of that in there. So aesthetically, it's really a beautiful movie. Baz Luhrmann is a great director. He's one of my favorites. I've seen all of his movies. There's three that are usually kind of advertised with this one, and one is Moulin Rouge, and the other one is Strictly Ballroom, and all three of those are some of my favorite movies, and a lot of it is because of the visual. So if you get a chance to check this out, it is pretty good. Now, the funny thing, when Baz Luhrmann was actually pitching this movie, I'm trying to remember if he said he was nervous or not, because I was watching some behind the scenes, and part of it was that he is proposing to do a Romeo and Juliet that is set in the modern day, but that has the original language. So we're going to watch a little bit of that while we get ready for our Work It Wednesday. I'm going to get some tools out and some adhesives like we talked about yesterday, and we're going to finish this guy up. So let's look. I think one thing I wanted to share with you guys today, this awesome piece of cinematic footage. For my kids watching out there that are still grossed out by kissing, there is a kissing scene there. But this is the elevator scene, and the way it's filmed is amazing. So what we're seeing, let me turn that volume down, even though I love that song. Actually, they're doing a pretty good job of explaining it, so I'll let you guys watch that while we're getting ready.
It wouldn't fit inside the room, so we had to devise a mechanical means by which we could move the camera outside the room. It's great credit to the performers that they were able to perform with this noisy physical distraction happening right alongside. Action!
Yeah, you can just imagine how well rehearsed and how careful they had to be to do this. It's a little bit hard to see because this is filmed in 1996. So we'll talk about this more tomorrow for Throwback Thursday, which it makes me sad that 1996 is a throwback, because I feel like that was like it was like the epitome of cool stuff in my life. But anyways, so as you can see, they're lifting the panels and moving the camera, and I think part of me wonders how you could accomplish something similar on stage. Or what kind of stage, if you had like something that was like in the center and round, if you could do something that would have the same sentiment but differently. So let's see here. We'll just keep on trucking on this. This is actually pretty interesting.
And action.
I love that song. All right, and if you're watching with us, please feel free to comment. I will be happy to feature your comment right in this area of the screen. So talk to me if you have any questions about drama, about what we're doing lately. Just let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you today. It could be about the school. It could be about drama. It could be about Romeo and Juliet. It could be about me, God forbid. Yeah.
Met zijn flamboyante bewerking van Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Your first film, Strictly Ballroom, became a runaway success. You're looking at the always difficult number 2, and you turn to Shakespeare. Why?
I actually considered at the time this other big idea I had about reinventing the modern musical. And I was thinking about doing that. But I thought that's going to be really, really hard to do. I'll do something really simple. I'm going to address cinema, a piece of Shakespeare, and my touch point was as if Shakespeare were making a movie today. And I thought, I'll do that. So I went and pitched this, and on the DVD of Romeo and Juliet, you see me pitching it. I tell the story of pitching it. It went so, I've never pitched anything. It went horrendously wrong because my then executive, Peter Rice, who is now pretty much runs Fox and a dear friend, he was so worried that they'd be freaked out that I wanted to use the original language. He said, great, I love it, Baz, but just don't mention the language. But I had made a little maquette, which is something I always do now, which is kind of a trailer to the proposed film. I do it with all my movies. And that convinced them to give me a little bit of money and to invite a then totally unknown young actor who was prepared to fly with all his friends, economy, to Australia to do a workshop on video to demonstrate that this idea of Shakespeare could work in modern dress. And that young actor's name was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first create, heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms?
Did you always think and knew that Leo had to play Romeo? Or were there other
Yes,
Romeos?
what happened was, before I committed to doing it, I went, well, the problem is finding somebody who can play Romeo. And I'd seen some pictures, and to be honest, and Leo would be a little sensitive about this because he's so focused and he's such a great actor and he's so, you know, it's the Marlon Brando thing. He's got such a vast range, but he's also gifted and burdened with being an attractive screen presence. He is star quality. So that's a gift and a burden. And I saw him as a young picture in a paparazzi, and I went, now that's how Romeo should look, like that. And I don't know, I didn't know who he was. I just thought he looked like...
You didn't even know he was Leonardo DiCaprio at the time?
No, I didn't. And I said, now who is he? And it said, oh, that boy. I said, if only he could act. I thought he was a celebrity or a rock star or something. And turns out, I said, oh no, he's a really incredible young actor. I was, wow. And I said, I must meet him.
Without him, there would not have been a Romeo and Juliet.
I wouldn't have been interested in doing it. I couldn't think of anyone who...
All right, guys, we're going to pause really quick just so I can explain what I'm doing, and then we're going to get back to watching Baz Luhrmann's looking back on his version of Romeo and Juliet as I work, so you guys have something to watch and listen to during the parts where it's just like me boring talking. So what I'm going to do now, as we said yesterday, I have a piece of a mirror that we're going to glue back here, and normally, of course, you'd want to try to find a mirror that's actually fitted, which you can find at most craft stores. But I'm just going to use this broken piece because it's what I have, and I like to recycle like old and broken things. So this is a mirror from a compact, and of course, you want to be really careful whenever you use any kind of broken glass because you could cut yourself. And also, sometimes little pieces will come off, and then if they fall on the floor, they get stuck in your foot, and it hurts really bad. Don't ask me how I know. So we're going to glue this back here. We're also going to take a piece of felt. And I don't know that I want to line the whole thing yet, but I am definitely going to line at least this part so that if it is warm, it is as safe as possible. So we're going to do that. We are going to reattach, where did I put it? We're going to reattach our nose piece that we pulled off. And we're going to kind of use that as a way, as a space to put this light in. So I'm actually going to cut into this foam a little bit and create a pocket for this light, so that it can be taken out and reinserted, so that we have our cool laser effect, which I am super, super excited about. And then these are just bullet lights that you can get. You can get these, I want to say you can get these at party stores. I usually order mine online, and they usually come in like big packs of a bunch. So super cheap, and you can create some pretty cool stuff with it. So that's what I will be doing while we're continuing to watch. And then these little, this weird little handcuff charm as well. We're going to just put this on the nose, just so I thought it looked cool there. So yeah, we're going to keep on working. We're also going to create the lens for the other eye. We're going to distress some of the shiny metal some, add some more gears, and then that will be pretty much phase one finished of this project. Because I kind of want to look into character creation based on this mask. Because the more I look at it, the more I'm starting to think, oh well, it would be cool if the character that wore this looked like, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll talk a little bit more about costuming and creating a fully fleshed out character, which is not just good for drama. It's good for if you are a role player, cosplayer, any kind of actor. It's good to think about your character from the ground up. So that is what we're going to be doing today, and I'll go ahead and put Baz Luhrmann back on. And again, please feel free to comment at any time. I miss Civilization, so let me know that you're out there, even if you just want to say hi. If you have any questions about the school or Romeo and Juliet drama, if you have any questions for me, I'll try my best to answer honestly if I can. Keep it PG, of course. But yeah, so that's what we're going to keep on trucking for. So no thanks. And
who embodied what he embodied. I mean, there's the physical essence, the physical representation, but more importantly was he had
I hope you guys enjoyed that little look into Baz Luhrmann's take on his Romeo and Juliet film, which we'll be studying a little bit more in depth tomorrow as we study the context of Romeo and Juliet. Now, what I've done so far, I'm trying to get this mirror to stick, which means I'm probably either going to have to clamp or tape it in place. As we talked about yesterday with the E6000 or the Gorilla Glue, it takes about 24 hours to do a full cure, and this is a really kind of weird, uneven surface that we're trying to stick on. So we want to make sure there's really good contact, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and tape it in place using our 2 random pieces of spike tape that I used for our demo earlier. So we're just going to put that in place so that we don't lose it again. So I'm still going to be working on other stuff while we're waiting on that to dry. Now, if you have time, of course, I would do like 1 element at a time and wait for it to fully dry. But in the words of a famous meme, ain't nobody got time for that. So there we go. Got our kind of weird mirror lens on. Now I have a big sheet of Mylar. I'm going to take this piece of Mylar and distress it. It's already kind of dirty. Again, I want it to have like a sort of a bombed out look, like we got it from like we got it from like a ground zero type place full of destruction, a demolition site. So I'm going to find some sandpaper. We're going to scratch this up a little bit, and I'm going to get a little bit of yellow and white paint to kind of do a sort of dusty look on this, and then we're going to paste this on the inside of our other eye. So I'll be right back. Grab our sandpaper, and in the meantime, I am enjoying watching videos with you guys. So we'll go back to YouTube, and we will watch a little bit more about Romeo and Juliet, because there's some good stuff there. Yeah, let me get you guys tuned in over there.
What box tomorrow shall I send to thee? I will not fail. It's 20 years till then.
As you guys see, there are so many other versions of Romeo and Juliet that we're going to be looking at in our study of Romeo and Juliet, and then we're going to go into hip-hop culture and some other things in support of a project that my kids are wanting to do for the fall, which is their own hip-hop written version of Romeo and Juliet. So that's why we're kind of looking at remakes and doing research and all sorts of good stuff.
Romeo! Oh my dad, he can afford no better town than this. Thou art a villain.
Tybalt, the reason that I have to love thee doth much excuse the appertaining rage in such a greeting. Villain am I none.
One thing that I really enjoy about, I actually find more enjoyment in the behind the scenes part of the DVD than the actual DVD most of the time. And it's just because I love watching all the elements that go into creating a movie or creating a theatrical play or anything like that. It's just so fascinating because what you see is the product of many, many, many hours of work, but well, we don't see all that work when we're looking at films. So fun stuff. Okay. All right. If you're just catching up with us, I just took my piece of Mylar. We distressed it a little bit with some sandpaper. I am going to get a little bit of white paint to mix with this yellow. So we're going to make it look kind of gross and aged. Just got to mix up my, just so here it looked like it. Gross. Okay, get a little bit, not a whole lot. Gross. All right, feel free to say hello. I will be happy to feature your comment. All right, so I've just taken some, just a little bit of white paint and put it on there, and then I am wiping all of the excess paint off, so you just have something that looks old and dusty. I don't know if you can see that really well. Focus. There we go. Do the same with the yellow. Just a little bit of yellow, and we're just going to, I think I'm going to grab a little bit of brown as well, just to make it look like I like to say, it's been through some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get some brown now. Let's see if I have. All right, there we go. All right, just a little super, super teeny tiny bit. We don't need a lot for this. Again, just taking my paper towel. And just rubbing that paint into our sanded piece of Mylar so it looks gross. Dusty and gross. I'm going to throw a little bit of black in there to kind of darken it up a little bit as well. And there's no fancy technique or anything like that. I just like to try things and see what works, honestly. So if I know what the end goal is, like I want to make it look like, such and such, I'll just look at the materials I have in my collection and see what I can come up with based on that. So got a pretty cool looking like sort of dusty eye cover now. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think the addition of the black was good because just the white and the yellow and the brown kind of weren't quite cutting it. I'm taking a little bit of this leftover black paint and just creating some more smudge. And now I'm also going to glue this to the inside. Now here, I think I want a better fit than this, so I'm going to grab a Sharpie. And there's like a million of them in this room, but I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on where they might be right now. Where do I have a Sharpie? Okay, I have another brand of permanent marker. Forgive me, Sharpie. So I'm going to tape this in place really quick. I'm not going to use any more spike tape. Just using those two pieces because we used them for a demo earlier, and I want to make sure they get some use out of them. So I'm going to grab some, what do I have on hand? I've got a little bit of duct tape on hand, so I'm going to use that. And I would probably not recommend duct tape for this. It's just what I had within reach. I'd probably use Scotch tape or masking tape for this. But since I'm not super worried about what the inside is going to look like, I'm not sweating it too much. So I have my piece of Mylar right there on the eye hole. If I trace it this way, we're going to see the mark. So I'm actually going to trace it this way, and then I'm going to cut it out. So I'm just going to trace. It doesn't have to be super spectacular, and I would give it like maybe like a couple centimeter margin so that when you cut out, you'll have room to paste. So cut a trace. I'm going to take it off now, and I'm going to cut around my trace line in a much, much nicer circle than I actually drew. So right now I'm just cutting. Okay, and then I'm going to take our E6000 here, and I'm going to put the glue on the smooth side because I want that rough, scratchy side to look to be on the outside. Now I've been pretty liberal with the glue. If you want a super clean look, you know, you want to keep that in mind. But I do not want a super clean look. I actually kind of want a pretty super distressed look. So that's why I'm not being super clean about it. Now, I put the glue on the wrong side because I'm being a genius today. But it shouldn't affect anything. So we're just going to wipe it back off. And when I say this is messy glue, this is some messy glue. So I'm sorry. You want to glue on the side that's going to be out. I try really hard not to be a messy worker, but you can pretty much ask any one of my art teachers, or basically anybody that knows me. I'm not a super clean worker. Like, can I clean? Yeah. Am I really good at it? Yeah. Do I want to do it? No, not so much. All right, so we are just taping that to the inside. Now there's going to be minimum visibility. This is going to be more like a prop, or maybe a photography prop, which was my my initial interest in getting this mask. So I'm not looking too much into the wearability of it. But if you do want this to be a wearable piece, of course, you want to make sure it is safe. Oh no, I got a little yellow on my beak there, which is fine because it's just going to make it look cool when I wipe it off. So, like Bob Ross says, happy accidents. So yeah, so I got our sort of dusty eyepiece glued in. And you can see a little bit of the glue, but that's actually okay. I'm not super worried about it. Again, not going for a really clean look. I'm looking for something very distressed. And on top of that, this is going to be photographed or worn from quite a few feet away. And we talked about before the 10-foot test. You just want to make sure it looks good from 10 feet away. So if you have glue marks and stuff on your props, especially if you're just starting out, you're a beginner, that's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. Okie dokie. All right, so we have our eyes completed. We're going to distress this a little bit because it's a little shiny. So we're probably going to sand it down, give it a little bit of black on there, but you see the shine on that mirror. That's pretty awesome. And then we're just going to keep embellishing, and then we have our other, our dusty, been through some stuff eye in there. So cool. All right, so let's see what our next step is going to be. I'm probably going to wait to put our nose piece back on, just because I want to make sure that this stuff is secure first. These two crazy eyes that we're working on. So I'll probably cover this in fabric as well, just for better aesthetic look on the inside. I'm not super worried about what the inside looks like, but so yeah, so I'm not super worried about what the inside looks like at the current moment. If you want to create something that, you know, for somebody else, I'd probably make sure it was super nice and super polished. So cover up all of this stuff. But since it's just for me, I'm not too worried about the lining. So we'll see where that goes. So this is going to wait until later. And then here's where we are now. And I think the last thing I want to do before I go back into the painting is to, here we go. Put our little handcuff charm on there. And here I'm being pretty light with the glue. Just gonna squish out the sides. We're gonna set that right in the middle. Like it because it looks almost like little teeny tiny glasses. All right, so here's where we are so far. Almost done, and then we're gonna add a strap to the back as well. I haven't decided between like a leather looking strap or a ribbon. I think both of them would tell a different story. So that's another thing that you need to consider while you're making props or anything like that is what is appropriate for the world or the character that you're working for. Because if I want to do something very elegant, I would put a ribbon around it. If I want to do something more more utilitarian looking, I'd probably want to put some sort of leather strap on it. But that is where we are now. I'm gonna go ahead and cap my glue off because it smells awful. Okay, and we're going to grab our sandpaper again, and I'm going to kind of rough up the surface of this little piece we glued on yesterday. Trying to get a little scratched up. While being careful not to scratch up our original paint job. Now a little bit of black paint. And a little bit of my gold. Where did my gold go? Ah, here we go. It's a little separated, so we're gonna shake it up some. Apparently it still has a seal on it too. I didn't realize I had a new one. Thought I grabbed the old one. A little bit of gold, a little bit of burgundy for our bronze color. And my goal today after our broadcast is to get my desk area reorganized a little bit better. Because the more I work on it, the more it starts crowding. All right, so I'm just rejecting the brush today. I really just don't feel like using the brush. So I'm gonna get some of that burgundy and some of that gold. Throw in some yellow, throw in some black. A little bit more burgundy. Create our bronze color. I'm just kind of wiping into some of those roughed up spots. And I was avoiding the brush because I was really enjoying using my fingers, but we're going to use a small brush to get kind of into the detail. And I think that's where we're going to stop for right now. And also we're going to use a smaller brush. Let me grab a small brush here. Grab one of our teeny tiny brushes. Get some of this bronze color and get in on the sides here. With the occasional dipping in the black so it looks like, again, distressed and destroyed. Like I kind of want it to look a little bit shiny, like it's newer than some of the than some of the other parts. Like maybe it was installed. Like if this was a kind of our virtual, like our character that we were creating, and they were in some sort of a firefight or something, or a war, where they wore this mask. That maybe someone else found it and installed this later. So again, things that you want to think about when you're creating a character, what kind of world they live in, what they've been through. So this is probably going to end up being a whole character. Okay, so it looks pretty distressed there, and then we're going to add a little bit to our charms here. All right, and I think that's where we're going to go ahead and stop for today. So we installed the eyeballs, the little ocular pieces, and our little laser beam right here that we're going to have the light on the back. And our kind of little charm. So the next thing is going to be to put the nose piece back on to get the light installed and to finish any embellishments. And then this guy will be finished, at least for this part, because like I said, I do kind of want to create an entire character based off of this mask. So we might add sort of like a headpiece and a full costume to it. But that's what we got so far. See a little spot there. It's going to bug me. Okay. All right. I think we're in pretty good shape. So again, this will be the last week that we'll be working on this particular prop, only because I'm ready to move on to some other projects. In the next coming weeks, we'll be talking about costuming, Romeo and Juliet, and more prop making. We'll work on some of the props from our spring musical, which will probably become a summer or fall musical, and just work on various other props on our Work It Wednesdays. So that's where we're stopping for today. It was fun. Thanks for watching a little bit of Romeo and Juliet with me. If you have any suggestions for future videos or any questions, please let us know. Also, don't forget about our JNSA drama group if you're interested in getting more specific information about drama or music. Both of those topics are covered in our JNSA drama and music class, or class group. And then if you need help with distance learning, check out our academic support group, JNSA Academy. And we have tutors Monday through Friday and also Saturday and Sunday to help you guys with your distance learning. And then just because I was really proud of this yesterday, there's our website. So using some new streaming software I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, check out our JNSA Academy group for academic support and our JNSA Music and Drama group for more information specifically about drama and music. But anyways, again, it was fun. You guys have a great rest of your day and get ready to dance with Mary. And I'm going to keep working on this and filming it so I can show you guys the end product later. All right. Bye, guys.